Hello and welcome back to the final part of this little series that I'm doing. A What If the Beatles Carried On. According to me, they released a second album in 1970 and then obviously 71, 72, 73 and 74 and then what was the last one? 75. I'm actually quite shocked by how many people have watched the 1975 video that I did, so thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this series, and aren't subscribed, what is your problem? No, but if please subscribe if you aren't already, and like and share and all that good stuff. Thank you. Before I get into what an absolute ball ache this 1980s Beatles album was to do, I made a mistake. I made a mistake. I said that apart from Paul McCartney, nothing was going on with the other Beatles in 1975. Sorry, George Harrison. He released Extra Texture in 1975. Luckily for me, there's like one good song on it, and it will be on my Beatles 1980. I screwed up there. Right, let's crack on with this because I've got 25 songs on my Beatles 1980 album. Usually I ask you guys, what do you think would be a good name for this album? I think I've named this one already. And it's the very first track on here. So track 1, Spin It On. So let me just clarify. There's going to be songs on here you don't like. There's actually a song on here I don't particularly like. It's a bit rubbish, but I've had to include it. And I don't look at this as these are my favourite Beatles songs, I'm putting them on. I try and think of it, do they work together? This was extremely tough because a bit of a mismatch here and there. But anyway, so track 1, Spin It On, off of Back to the Egg. I love Back to the Egg album. I think it's one of his best albums. Come fight me in the comments if you think I'm wrong. I'm ready for it. I'm using Spin It On because I just think it's, for as an album opener, it was just like, you'd be like, whoa, what the hell are the Beatles doing? So that's why that's there. Track 2 is brackets, just like close brackets. They love their brackets, didn't they, in the Beatles? Well, John Lennon did anyway. Jesus. Just like Starting Over. I did have this as my album opener for quite a while, but I've nudged it down to track 2. Great song, and also a great way of saying, hey, Lennon's still got it, because I just love this song. It's awesome. Okay, sorry if the camera has shifted. I had to change the battery. I only just bloody started. As I was trying to say before the camera track 3 may be controversial. It's Not Guilty by George Harrison. Notice I say George Harrison and not the Beatles. I know there's a perfectly good version of this by the Beatles, and it would make a hell of a lot more sense to include it on a Beatles album, but I want this album to sound as 80s as possible. And it didn't. The original Not Guilty just doesn't. So I've decided to take the George Harrison album version of Not Guilty from 1979. Did I make a mistake there? I may be wrong. It's unlikely, though. It's unlikely. Track 4 is Old Siam Sir, straight Back to the Egg. I really do love this album. This is a great song with a great riff, and people that don't like Back to the Egg, I don't get it, because I'm getting angry. Track 5, Nobody Told Me by John Lennon, off of the posthumous from the album after he died, Milk and Honey. This song was originally meant for Ringo Starr, and Ringo never felt like he could record it, so he never did. He did grow old with me, though, So there you go. There's something about songs that John Lennon writes for Ringo. He's it's like he's energized to write an absolute banger, and nobody told me he is. It's on the album. Some of you that know my rules would have noticed that I've taken this from the future because Nobody Told Me was released in '84, but I do think it's quite safe to say that this was finished in, well, in 1980 or before. It's quite safe to say. Not going to say why. I don't want to give any spoilers. Lennon was shot. He was shot. He was killed. It was terrible. Closing out this album is Ringo with Out on the Streets. What a great song this is. Never really heard it until I started compiling. I can't speak today. This is a great song. I urge you to go listen to it. There is one slight problem with that. It comes off an album called Ringo the Fourth, and I think apart from YouTube, there's nowhere to listen to it. I had to rip it from YouTube just to put it on my playlist. And I've also remastered it myself. Yeah, made it sound better because it doesn't sound good. But it's great. Great song. Go check it out. Opening up side 2 of LP 1 is Woman, John Lennon. He was on fire. It's so annoying that dickhead killed him because he was an absolute fire. Not so much. I mean, Milk and Honey is awful, but you know he wasn't releasing those songs. But anyway, it's a shame. Woman, brilliant song. It's opening up my side 2. This is followed by Dark Sweet Lady by George Harrison, another song that I've never really listened to, but this is actually beautiful. It's a beautiful song, and it's got loads of weird chord changes. I love it. Love it. Track 3 is Clean Up Time by John Lennon. The version I'm using is from the Double Fantasy Stripped album. I just prefer it, not gonna lie. Also on that album, there's a Yoko Ono song I like. Can't believe it. Go and check out Give Me Something by Yoko Ono, but the stripped mixed. It is awesome. It rocks. Anyway, Clean Up Time, I think is a huge influence on Uptown Funk by Bruno Mars and Mark Ronson. As soon as I heard that, I was like, hang on, that sounds familiar. And don't ask me how. I knew it was John Lennon. Yeah, Clean Up Time. I'm telling you, they're the same song. They're not. They're very similar, though. Listen to it, you'll see. Track 4 is this song by George Harrison from 1976, off his 33 1/3 album. This is great. It's like you could just see how frustrated he was with his court case about My Sweet Lord. He pours it all out in this, I tell you. So, yeah, go listen to it. Great song. It's on there. I keep saying it's on there. You know it's on there. I'm reading it to you. Stop saying it. So that's on there. Followed by track 5, Silly Love Songs by Paul McCartney. It's a great song, isn't it? It's a great song. Do I need to give a little review every time I say something? It's Paul McCartney, Silly Love Songs. It's a great song, you know that. Followed by, and closing LP 1, Coming Up. This is the only song I've got on here from the McCartney 2 album. I originally did have 2 others. I had Temporary Secretary on here, and I also had Waterfalls, a very short of the single version of Waterfalls, because believe me, that long version is rubbish. It's not rubbish. It's not rubbish. It's just too long. I prefer the single version. But anyway, so coming up is closing out side 2 of LP 1. Actually, I've just discovered that on YouTube videos, when you upload them, you can put the adverts where you want. So Let's do that. Let's have an ad break now. Thank you. That's end of part one. Join me in part two after this short break. I wasn't. I wasn't ready. Sorry, I wasn't ready. I wasn't. Just went for a slash. Sorry. I'm here now. I'm here now. So on to LP. Welcome back from the break. LP2, track one. I'm losing you, John Lennon. I thought this would be a really good opener for the second LP. Because of the weird thing he does at the beginning, that can't even do it. Track two is Arrow Through Me. I don't know if it's just because of the stuff I watch on YouTube, but is it just me, or is this song getting a bit of a second wind recently? It's kind of been more appreciated these days than ever before. It's a great song. Great song. Track three is Beautiful Girl by George Harrison. Not one of his more famous songs, but it's a really beautiful song. And so I put it on there. So it's on there. Dickhead. This may upset some of you. It's Paul's granny music, Baby's Request. Paul McCartney writes this stuff, and I think he definitely would have had it. I mean, it was on his bloody Back to the Egg album, so sorry, it's on there. It's on there. Shit, stop saying it. And next is the song that I don't particularly like. It's all right. Don't get me wrong. I've had to remaster it. There's a clue. It's a Ringo song. It's called, funnily enough, Wings. He released this more recently, but I listened to that and it sounded like too modern. And you can tell that because they've pitch corrected Ringo's voice in it, and it's very jarring to me anyway. So go and check it out. It's not an awful song. I needed another Ringo song on here, and he co-wrote this one. All the other Ringo stuff is written by somebody else, basically. He co-wrote this, so it's on this. He also co-wrote the other one. What was it called? Out on the Streets. That's how much I love that. What's it called? Track 6 is Getting Closer off the Back to the Egg album. I love this song. I don't know if I mentioned it. I love the bloody album. I wish that McCartney would release an archive collection. What I'm actually hoping is of a remix of that album. There's a few songs that are a bit not great in their mix. They're all great songs, of course. I love the album. There's a great version, which I do have, of Denny Lane singing the majority of the song. He sings the bulk of the song, and McCartney just pitches in when he needs to. It's none of your business. All right. Track 7. This is the only side of an LP which has 7 tracks, because all these songs were quite short. So I put a 7th one on. It's McCartney again. It's From Back to the Egg. So go look. I like the album, didn't I? I'm sorry, but you may not like this song. I just felt like there's no McCartney ballads on here, especially considering I took Waterfalls off, which I've put on After the Ball / Million Miles. I think that's how it's pronounced. It's really good. You wouldn't expect it to be. It's just very catchy. It's very catchy. Like I said at the beginning of this video, you're not going to like every song off of every album they did. And oh, that reminds me, last time I mentioned Revolution 9 off of the White Album has been a particularly crap piece of work. And some of you responded. And let me just say, I appreciate there are some people that like Revolution 9, and that's fine. But can you appreciate that I don't? I think it's rubbish. Blows my mind it's on the White Album. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so After the Ball / Million Miles. If you like bloody Revolution 9, then After the Ball / Million Miles is an upgrade. Alright? Fuming. And so, side 2 of LP2. We're there. We're on the final side. Finally. Opening up is Let 'Em In, Doorbell. I thought that'd be a good opener of a side. We all know Let 'Em In. It's a great tune. It's on there. Oh my god. Followed by track two, Watching the Wheels by John Lennon. It's not one of my favourite songs of his from the Double Fantasy album. It's probably could be my least favourite. But it is still good. Like I said, I don't like every single song that's on here. So please don't judge me when I tell you that track three is Dear Yoko. Stop it. So yeah, Dear Yoko. I've taken the Strips version again because I prefer that. I just needed another upbeat Lennon song on here, especially after Watching the Wheels. It answers the questions for all of you that love the ballad of John and Yoko and were sitting around wondering, gee, what happened to those guys? Well, he's letting you know, sort of. Track four is You by George Harrison from his Extra Texture album from 1975. Yes, that's the album I missed when I was doing my 1975 Beatles album. Good little song with a good little riff. I'm sad I missed it. I think to be honest, it's the only song I liked off that album. Track five, Beautiful Boy, brackets, Darling Boy, close brackets, by John Lennon. I've always loved this song. The first place I heard it actually was Mr. Holland's Opus. Do you remember that film? I cried. I didn't cry. I did. It was really nice. Just think, I'm okay. Oh, nearly went again. And finally, closing out my 1980s Beatles album is Mull of Kintyre. It's got to go on there, right? It's got to. I know there's bagpipes on it, and not everybody likes bagpipes, but I think it's still the biggest selling single ever. Is it? I know Elton John did something with Princess Diana, but that was a charity single. So maybe this is the biggest selling non-charity single ever. Someone's bound to tell me I'm wrong. Am I wrong? Just put it in the comments. I'll apologise there. Mull of Kintyre is an absolute monster. And it's closed. It's on there. It's closing out the album. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So there you go. 25 songs. This was actually pretty damn hard. I've left off so many songs that I wanted to include. Rockestra's theme. I love that. Took it off because I knew what you guys would be like. Rockestra theme, whatever. There will be no Beatles 81 album for obvious reasons. John Lennon. Do you think there's a world in which the McCartney camp, the Lennon camp, the Harrison camp, the Ringo camp, they all get together and release albums like this? Maybe not call it the Beatles, but some sort of collection. I mean, I guess they would have done it already. What am I talking about? Money hungry, aren't they? Bloody record companies. Don't get me started. Anyway, that's the end. You may go. Thanks for watching. Stick around if you want. I'm not doing anything. I've got a broken foot. Did I tell you? I haven't told you. I've got a broken foot. You can't. I'll try and show you it. No. Hang on. I've got a picture somewhere. Hang on. 1 second. 1 second. There you go. Don't know if the camera will pick up on that. Oh, there's the ring light. No. Oh, there you go. Broken. No one cares.